I just Googled the On the Way to New Work book, which is this thing here, which you will be able to buy in a few weeks from now, finally. This whole podcast journey actually started more than 4 years ago with the idea to write a book. If you're new to this channel, my name is Christoph, I'm the host, I'm the CEO of Blackboard, a company that is actually not writing books, but working in the field of collaboration and everything that helps teams to collaborate in a better way. And since some of you followed our podcast On the Way to New Work for the last years, I want to give you a tiny little sneak preview of how to use this book, the On the Way to New Work book, and what you can expect from it, and make up your own mind if you should buy it. That's what we talk about. First of all, where did this whole thing start? It actually all started with a YouTube video, of course.
We will cover new ways of work, new ways of leadership, and a lot of communication and tools. If you have ideas, if you want to contribute, let us know. And now my hands are freezing, so we take the next round.
Cut. Which we made on the way to New York with the idea of writing a book and doing some interviews and recording these interviews and publishing them as a podcast. That was the whole idea behind it. We kind of had a hard time to finishing that book. We did an attempt in 2017, October 2017, of writing every day. And in 2 weeks we had 250 pages, and we didn't really freak people out too much. It's difficult. So, luckily, along came Swantje, one of our guests in the podcast, and joined us as an author.
Also ich erinnere mich noch an ein Coaching mit einer Führungskraft, der hat gesagt, also wenn ich hier der Schlauste bin, dann sind wir alle verloren. Was ich irgendwie ganz schön fand und so eine schöne, ehrliche Selbstreflexion.
So ähnlich wie der Carsten Kühn, weißt du noch, Christoph, als wir bei dem Hornbach Marketing und Personalvorstand sagten, ja. Der hat gesagt, meine Leute sind in allem, was sie können, besser als ich.
And now we have 3 authors of this book, and she and Michael had the idea of why not making it a travel guide for the topic of new work, which I then liked very much as a co-author and said why not? Because everyone has a different idea of what does new work actually mean. It can be related to technology, it can be leadership, it can be self-management, it can be health. There are so many different areas touched by that. So what we did in this book is we have these different chapters that are related to you as a person, you in a team, but also the whole society. And then chapters, more detailed chapters, where we have topic of, let's say, health, or a topic, say, technology, and cover certain areas that are connected to the podcast interviews, to more than 300 guests up until this day. And these guests then share their views, and we have quotes from the podcast so that you get an idea of, do I want to go in this direction? And I would say it's not always the newest or most innovative answer, but that's not the point. It's their experience and their view on what we call new work. So you have the chance to also then say, okay, what's my opinion about it? And this is what we do in the book. So I read it through over Christmas for mistakes and typos and the last changes. And some of the chapters I like more, some less, but with all the different chapters, even I, who is part of this author team, had a lot of inspiration of changing things. For example, when it comes to my priority list, I made up something new. Or another example was about leadership, rethinking certain leadership styles, just with the inspiration we had in the podcast, but I kind of forgot it throughout all these different takes that we did. As I said, in a couple of weeks from now, you will be able to buy it. You can order it already. You could pre-order it. If you just Google On the Way to New Work book, there's one tiny little downside. It's right now just available in German. Sorry Sorry. I know. But the more successful it will be. So if you have any relatives or friends in Germany, you just buy it to them, and the more successful it is, we definitely will then translate it in English. Michael is already really ahead of this thing and wants to do that, and I'm in for that as well. But we need a lot of support.
How much, quick? What? It's for the wife. Oh, 20 shekels. Right. What? They were. Wait a minute. Oh, we're supposed to haggle.
So, this is the On the Way to New Work book. And since I actually kind of took away Jan's place, Jan is just waiting in line and go back to editing, because right now he's just breathing away some air. Or is that a break that you... Could be a break. And Jan is behind the podcast and doing a lot of mastering, so he's the master ear, not the master eye, but the master ear behind the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, watching the video. My name is Christoph, as I said. Blackboard is the company, On the Way to New Work is the podcast, and now I can also finally say I'm an author. I will call my mom right now. I'm an author. I'm so excited.